There are some real gems in World of Tanks. They can be recognized from afar. Others try to imitate them. But there are also those who are ready to challenge them. The SU-130PM is a new Tier 8 Soviet tank destroyer. It has a spotlight, an assault rifle, and an open cabin. What makes the SU-130PM so good, and how do you get the most out of it? Let's find out. The SU-130PM, like every vehicle with the roof always down, is not for racing, but for pleasure. So it's no surprise that it rarely reaches its maximum speed. The speed is enough to outrun the ISU-152, but not much more. The speed when ascending a hill and moving on soft ground is nothing special. You should keep this in mind at the start of the battle, and later when changing position. The SU-130PM is not a vehicle for short runs from cover to cover. Its whole traverse speed is better than many vehicles, but that's not surprising. However, one parameter is not only useful but very important: speed in reverse. It's one of the best among other Tier 8 TDs. Combined with a good engine power-to-weight ratio, it may just help you survive. And you will have to survive. The SU's armor seems to have been created by the enemy. It's so thin, it's like you could pierce it with your finger. This Soviet TD won't last long without cover. But in every battle, you will have a reliable ally: your gun. It immediately draws your attention. And you ask the most important question in existence: how big is the alpha damage? Well, it's good. The average damage per shot is 520. Only 3 other Tier 8 TDs offer higher damage, but you won't find higher among premium TDs. Such high damage per shot promises its owner many enjoyable moments. For some opponents, even one shell may be enough to leave the battlefield. However, you need to penetrate the enemy armor first, and the SU-130 is good in this department. Armor penetration with the standard shell is 243mm. A heat shell penetrates 320mm. This is enough to feel confident in a fight against any opponent. Aiming time and dispersion are fairly good. Gun depression angles are -7. Its damage per minute without all the trimmings is just below 2300. But this is just the base model. The vehicle can be even fiercer. For starters, let's increase damage per minute and reduce dispersion. To do so, mount a gun rammer, use extra combat ration, and train your crew with the Brothers in Arms perk. The enhanced gun laying drive will improve aiming time. After these tweaks, the gun gets better right away. But this is still not enough for being really efficient. To fire twice and finish the battle ingloriously is not our way. Let's talk about a thing that makes the SU-130PM a truly menacing opponent that can influence the tide of battle: concealment. Due to its slow silhouette, this vehicle has excellent concealment. Camouflage and the concealment skill for the crew will just reinforce its status as a stealth warrior. Let's do a test. Here's a fully packed Sheridan, and here is the SU-130PM in bushes. Don't you see it? No one sees it. The Sheridan will only spot it at 98 meters. If you equip this Soviet TD with the camouflage net, the Scout will discover it only at 50 meters. But this is a bit excessive. Instead of the camo net, it's better to put binocular telescope in the 3rd slot. This way you will not only be stealthy, but also have good view range. The allies won't always spot targets, and you need to deal damage anyway. You just need to do it wisely. The camouflaging effect of bushes disappear when firing. That's why you need to roll 15 meters back, hiding all your visibility checkpoints. The Sheridan will spot the shooting bush only at 250 meters. The distance where the SU-130PM gets spotted depends on the enemy view range. And you never know beforehand whether they use coded optics or what skills and perks their crew is trained with. So there are several basic things to keep in mind. If the enemy is outside the maximum view range, you can fire at them without any doubt. There's no risk of being detected. This is the safest option. It's very useful at the start of the battle. You can destroy the pesky scouts and evaluate the situation. The only disadvantage, it's hard to land accurate hits from that distance. Find a bush or fell a tree closer to the enemy and keep a distance of around 250 meters. You'll hit opponents more often, but it's also riskier. You misjudge the enemy force's disposition, and that's it. Before Sixth Sense activates, the opponents will turn their turrets and be ready to fire. the armor won't save you, and you can't get away fast. There are some nuances as well. Look for positions with cover or escape routes. Don't wait for Sixth Sense to go off. Roll back and hide. If it doesn't activate, you can return and keep on firing. If it does, you need to get off the radar. Most likely, the enemy will notice a dangerous bush and wait for you to get back there, so it's better to change position. Or you can wait until they get distracted by other targets, but you can't do this trick over and over again. What do you do when the enemy tanks have got closer? First of all, keep calm and don't shoot. If your allies can provide fire support, draw their attention by pressing the magic T button. Mark the enemies with good view range and maneuverability. They are the most dangerous ones. You think you shouldn't rely on your teammates? Well, there's no guarantee, but you either increase your chances of victory in every moment of battle, or enjoy the serene atmosphere of the garage. It will be hard for most opponents to spot you at a distance of more than 100 meters. Just don't move your hull. It decreases your concealment even in the bushes. Fortunately, the cabin traverse angle is 77 degrees to either side. When the enemy reaches the critical line, you can fire and hide right away, and then change your position if you have an opportunity. But of course, it would be best to avoid such situations. If you pay attention to the mini-map and plan your actions, it's not hard to do on open maps. On city maps, things can be different. If you have enough teammates to push through a flank, it's not wise to keep on nesting in bushes. You need to move behind your allies. Use them as cover. Fire at the enemy while they are reloading or distracted by someone else. When your teammates have low HP, don't be afraid of catching a shell. Sometimes you can win a battle by saving your allied tanks. However, you should be afraid of these guys. A skirmish with them is too much of a risk. Playing the SU-130PM is a pleasure for TD enthusiasts. Good concealment helps this tank destroyer blend in with the surroundings. Being in the shadow, you direct a battle with an invisible hand, eliminating those who don't act according to your scenario in cold blood. And you always stand to gain.